This program contains adult content.
Is there a God?
Big atheist.
Really?
What am I, an idiot? Come on.
That yes, it would be nice if you could throw your sins and your responsibilities on someone else. But it's not true.
It looks like far-left lunacy.
I don't believe that it's true that religion is moral or ethical.
You don't need to follow anybody!
It's not human intelligence!
If someone doesn't value logical consistency, what logical argument are you going to give them that will demonstrate that they should?
Welcome back, Rebels. This is episode 162 of the Godless Revolution. Today is Monday, June 26th. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we shifted days that we're recording this week. We'll be doing Mondays for a little bit.
Because my schedule shifted.
So we're recording tonight, and then the main show won't go out for a week. Yeah. That'll be all right.
Holy fuck nuggets.
It'll be fine.
In other words, it's absolutely irrelevant to the listeners whether or not we do it on Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday.
Yeah. Well, I like to give the date just to kind of provide
as
context.
Reference.
Like, yeah.
So if something really crazy happens between now and then, they'll realize, oh, this was recorded before that shit fucking happened.
Yeah. Why do they talk about it? Well, because we recorded a week before.
They're still going to ask that.
Probably.
Then I'll just direct them to these
Actually,
first
you know
few
what?
minutes of this episode.
The people, our fans are pretty good about that. Like, most of the stuff they send us is pretty relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, more recent stuff. And a lot of it is kind of timeless, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're talking about separation of church and state issues.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, different things may come up in the news on a regular basis, but it still has to do with the overarching theme of separating the two. So you've probably noticed the Matt's in studio with us again. Yay! After being not with us for a little while. How you been?
Well, off and on. Been worse.
Yeah?
You didn't fly anywhere in the last few days, did you?
Well, what do you mean?
Oh, I didn't know if you went to Europe or anything. Took out vengeance or...
No, not Europe per se.
Ah.
To exact revenge or anything?
I just didn't know.
Huh. I'm guessing you may have something to talk about later in another episode or something. I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But you're looking very tan.
Oh, thanks. You're
very, very summery.
You have a beard.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not looking very tan. I don't really tan.
We are doing awesome at small talk.
Yeah, I go from white to a shade of red. Celebrated Father's Day with my dad belatedly yesterday. That was nice. Went up to Brigham City, spent some time with him. Took my son Gray up there. Visited with my father and my grandmother. And I think I might have scared a little bit one of his LDS neighbors. Because the way my dad's driveway is set up, she had to walk past my car with the atheist license plates on it. And then knock on the door. And my dad had me answer the door because he's like, oh, who's that? Well, you should go and answer the door and see how they react. So I went and answered the door. And there's this LDS woman standing there in her prairie dress after church. And she had a plate of 2 cookies. I answered the door, and she asked for Brother Ellis. And, of course, I knew she meant my dad, what I wanted to say, but didn't, because my dad and my grandmother are there, and I didn't want to upset them, but I wanted to say, well, are you looking for my dad's brother or somebody else? Because he's here, but his brother's not. Anyway, so she dropped off a couple cookies, root beer cookies. I'd never had them before.
I've never even heard of root beer cookies.
They were interesting. They were a darkish cookie. And
well, they better be if they're root beer.
Well, yeah. And they had like a root beer icing kind of stuff on them.
Sounds weird.
Yeah, they were kind of weird, but I mean, they were tasty.
They were Mormon.
Yeah.
That's always a little weird.
Yeah. But, so then my dad came to the door and he's like, oh, hi, yeah, thank you very much. And she said, well, I only brought 2 because my dad lives alone and she thought it was only going to be him there. And she said, if I'd have known there were other people here, I'd have brought more. And I said, well, we'll be here for a little while.
So did she ever come back?
No.
Aw.
I think I frightened her.
Horrible, horrible woman.
Because my dad's like, oh, this is my son. And she's like, hi.
My soul is burning.
Nice to meet you. And then she kind of scurried away. But yeah, it was nice visiting with them. On the way up there, Gray was educating me on math theory or theoretical math.
Okay.
Like, I didn't really know what that was. What theoretical math is.
Is that like the quantum math type stuff where it's...
No. It took about, I don't know, maybe a half hour to explain it.
Okay.
So I won't try because I think I have the basics down, but he'd probably have to explain it to me again at least once, maybe.
Yeah, no use talking to us dummies about it.
No, it's interesting stuff. So because he completed his bachelor's and is going back for his master's in theological math, in theoretical math. Theological math, 2 + 2 = Jesus.
One God equals a Trinity.
Nice. That's much better.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was nice visiting with him. And what did you do over the weekend, Ryan?
Well, since I'm still on my long weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you're working, what, Thursday through Saturday?
Saturday now, so I got 7 days off in a row right now. What did I do since last we recorded? I was supposed to go shoot some ads on Sunday, but that got canceled, so I went and did product photos for the guy.
What is the product?
He sells a beard oil, like a beard oil, beard wax, and a beard shampoo, and all that kind of stuff. So he needed some new product photos for his website, so we went out to nature and set all the stuff up in the woods and stuff and took neat photos with it.
Well, if you need somebody to test those products...
You know what? If you want to get some, I can probably get some of his stuff for you.
Yeah?
He gives them out as samples all the time to get people to come back.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, I'll try it out. I'm always willing to try out new stuff.
Yeah.
On my face mane.
Hell yeah.
My face pubes.
Then when we do a ad, we are always going to be looking for bearded people to be in them.
There's a thriving online community of beardos.
Oh yeah. His beard, he said he's been growing his for 3 years, and he's got a ZZ Top beard.
Yeah. Nice.
But,
nice.
If you're going to own a beard oil company, you better have an epic beard.
Yeah.
So
kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah.
And you have been gone or not been on the show for like a month now, right? Because we did 2 without you.
Yeah.
Then we didn't do a
You
show.
were gone in California,
Yeah. And then, so yeah, it's been like a month. We missed you.
Mm-hmm. I could tell. That I'm a little bit salty right now because you guys showed me the clips from I am not caught up on the 2 skeptical chaps, so they showed it to me right before the show and then want me to be chipper, which is hard enough to do without any help. So
we just wanted to make sure you're primed and ready to go for the show.
For me to go to my ranty room. I'll go. I'll get there.
Or
I'm sure.
just if we made any comments or said anything that you would know what we were talking about.
Yes.
Oh, right.
We wanted to make sure you were well informed and had all of the pertinent information.
Exactly.
Can't wait.
Because we love you, man.
Yeah.
We're just trying to help here.
Yeah.
We didn't want you to feel like you were left in the dark.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you guys always have my best interest in mind.
Yeah.
we do. Well, I do. I mean, Ryan's double agent or whatever.
Well, I'm
compromised.
In the employ of a British agency.
There it is.
But no, yeah, we definitely missed you. And so you were sick last week. What else have you had going on?
Just work mostly.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting.
For the mostly. That's it. Yep. Pretty exciting.
All right. Well, we have some news items to cover. We were going to have Megan Kennedy on the show with us tonight, but she has had some car issues, and her vehicle is not ready by the time we were going to be recording tonight, and so she will not be joining us. We will, however, be joined toward the end of the show by Mr. Mark Nebo.
Yay.
Yes.
From Be Secular and the Normalize Atheism campaign. So that should be fun.
Hi, this is Yvette Doncherma, aka the Cybabe, and you're listening to Godless Revolution. You can find me at cybabe.com, at my Twitter account at the SciBabe. And if you've hunt really hard, you can find me at Pornhub. I dare you.
Here follows a public service announcement for the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast. Greetings, Americans. Over here in London, we are well aware that not all of you are loud, xenophobic, racist, sexist, religious nuts.
But many of your politicians who display these frightful traits seem to be quite popular.
Particularly a certain wall-obsessed, small-handed, best-word-using, daughter-perving, war-inciting, candy-floss-headed clown.
To those of you who choose to follow such balderdash, we strongly recommend not to listen to the Two Skeptical Chaps.
It probably won't be your cup of tea.
Otherwise, give us a listen.
Each episode, we cover any news or current affairs from across the globe.
Things that annoy or delight us.
That's two, as in the number 2.
And skeptical with a K.
The wrong way to spell it. Cheerio.
You know, my journey through Christianity was the journey of slowly dialing down the supernatural, slowly dialing down the crazy until there was nothing left.
Thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
All right, the first story we've got tonight comes to us from the Christian Post, which is always full of fun and interesting things.
Yeah, I used to actually subscribe to one. I can't remember if it was a Christian Post or one of those ones where they actually gave you a newsletter and emailed you a lot of their stories just for the fucking comedic value of it.
Well, this one is really weird. It's the title of the story is Vatican probes Brazilian exorcists who made a pact with Satan. I thought they reserved probes for altar boys, but
oh, I was thinking aliens.
But what strikes me as really strange about shit like this is it's reported as if this shit is real. Like,
yeah,
that Satan exists, that exorcisms are a thing that you have to go through to purge the body of demons. And
well, of course, if you believe in exorcism, you have to believe that demons actually literally exist.
It's just so fucking, it seems so hokey and stupid to me. It's like, that's part of the reason that a lot of movies don't scare me. You know, a lot of movies bullshit. Are based on just fucking ghosts and demons and bullshit religious nonsense. So they don't have any value in scaring me anymore, except for like the jumpy out parts, you know, the startling things,
jump scares and stuff.
Yeah. I think I mentioned many episodes ago that like the only movies that really tend to scare me are the suspense thrillers where the bad person is an actual person.
Right.
Because, you know, crazy people actually exist.
Yeah.
And they can be somewhat terrifying.
And honestly, they're worse than the way they portray demons. I mean, for the most part, demons always look really bad, but they don't really do that much more than a human could do.
No, they just make the person cuss and that's about it.
Yeah, vomit and spit and stuff.
Yeah.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell, Karis.
I mean, that sounds like an average Friday.
I remember when I was a kid, The Exorcist fucking terrified me, but now it's like...
you grew out of it.
Yeah, I grow up. You grow up.
I don't think I was terrified of it, more disgusted by part, like, you know, thinking like physically, like, oh, that's fucking disgusting, like it's gross.
Yeah.
Not as a...
it's
scary. Yeah, that was just fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And maybe her going down like the backwards, upside down crab crawl thing where she's down the stairs type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a little creepy, but otherwise it wasn't.
Well, yeah, just because it's creepy and weird, though,
Doesn't
but
mean
not,
it's not scary. It was more, I was like, oh, that's fucking...
It's not like you're thinking a demon is making her do that.
It's definitely not human centipede scary.
Well, the story reads that the Vatican is looking into a group of exorcists who made a pact with Satan on climate change and the death of Pope Francis.
So, okay, the death of Pope Francis. I see. They want to get promoted. But what the fuck so they made a pact? So did they make a pact to make climate change real?
I don't know.
I think those are two unrelated things that they're doing.
Well, they got two separate things they're doing, but with the climate change one, I'm like, is it a pact for climate change to be real or to not be real?
Yeah.
Well, maybe the story will let us know.
Okay.
It says that this came about after a video of the Brazil-based group known as Heralds of the Gospel emerged online that revealed chilling information of a cataclysmic event and the pontiff's death.
Oh, yeah, chilling.
Well, the guy is old.
Says the devil worshippers look up to their former leader, Dr. Plinio Correa de Oliveira.
Did better than I would.
Who they believe is in close contact with Satan after his death in 1995. So he's in close contact with Satan after his death?
Mm-hmm. He's in hell.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's...
Unless he can make long-distance phone calls from heaven.
Currently, they are led by 77-year-old João Scognamilio Cladius, who reportedly resigned as Superior General last week, but continues to be the father of the Institute.
Okay, hold. So, I know you're not going to believe this, but I see a hole. So, the devil worshippers look up to their former leader, who they believe is in close contact with Satan after his death in 1995.
Yes.
So clearly he's in hell.
Mm-hmm.
But clearly he's very powerful because he's connected to Satan, right? So obviously, if you're bad enough, hell is going to be just fine for you.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So you can't just be medium bad, or else then you go to hell and it sucks. You got to be really fucking bad. And then when you get there, you'll be close with Satan and people will be able to call on you and you'll be powerful.
Well, yeah, we talked about that when we talked about hell.
Yeah.
I think we did 2 episodes on hell.
Why would he punish you? You're his fucking boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, well, like, if you're a bad enough person, you go to hell and you're rewarded. And why, ultimately, would Satan punish anybody? I mean, why the fuck would he choose to follow the laws that God has handed down? I mean, God creates this entire playground for him and then condemns people to spend eternity in hell. The devil isn't going to follow God's rules on that, right? Like, wouldn't it be like, well, fuck you, buddy, I'm going to reward these people when they come down here because they're fucking up your plans.
Yeah, but often religious people will say that it's hell being away from God. But in this case, we have religious people actually telling us that if you're bad enough, hell isn't a big deal. You'll be powerful there.
Yeah, you'll be rewarded for your evil acts here on earth.
Maybe the ones that get tortured in hell are the ones that were a clerical error by God. Like, whoops, you were supposed to go to heaven, but we made a typo.
Oh, so then they're torturing the good people.
Yeah, they're too much of a goody two-shoe. They aren't doing cocaine. They aren't fucking hookers.
Not murdering anybody.
Not murdering anybody.
Like, I'm surprised that those are the top 2 things on your list of bad things to do.
I know. And you didn't go to rape. You went to having consensual sex with another adult that you pay for.
Because those are things that all preachers do anyways, that they figure are sins.
Okay. I got you.
Doing blowing fucking hookers. I'm skipping right over the little boys.
Everybody's Bill Riley.
Yeah.
Bill O'Reilly. Says the footage was taken at an occasion called, quote, a gathering of priests to share experiences of exorcism that was attended by about 60 of the occult's priests. In the video, which I wish we had or that they supplied a link for, Diaz was shown listening to one member read from a transcript of a purported conversation between the exorcists and the devil. So these are Catholic priests.
I wonder why they felt the need to add purported.
Because I guarantee that this video that they're talking about doesn't fucking exist in the first place.
Well, no, apparently they had the videos online. So I read a couple other stories.
Okay.
They had the videos online and they've since been removed or taken down. But there's video of these priests carrying on like they're having a conversation with the devil.
Well, if you're doing an exorcist, you gotta fucking talk to the guy.
The transcript described Dr. Plinio as the author of climate change and the increase of heat. Which,
sure,
I guess, these guys are apparently also against Pope Fluffy, who has acknowledged that climate change is real, that the globe is warming, that the effects are likely caused or exacerbated by the activity of humans.
So why would this group want to kill Pope Fluffy if they're all for climate change?
Oh, no, they're saying that climate change, well, yeah, I mean...
they're saying it's real.
Yeah, he wrote the book on heating up, so they obviously are saying that they talked to Satan. They got Satan to, fake climate change.
They're just mad at Frankie because he's saying it's science, and they're saying, no, it's the
devil.
fucking devil's buddy that used to be our buddy before 1995 that we can still talk to. God damn it.
And apparently, in these videos, the devil then predicted that a meteorite will crash into the Atlantic Ocean and will destroy North America. Quote, "The Vatican, it's mine. Mine," the disciple read. "The Pope does whatever I want. He's stupid. He obeys me in everything. He is my glory. He is willing to do everything for me. He serves me." The disciple continued.
Okay.
Then the devil foresaw Pope Francis's downfall.
Why would they kill him if he's got him all powerful?
He's too nice, man.
Wait, so are they also saying the devil can see the future then, too?
Apparently.
Then why is he fighting God if he's never going to win?
Oh, because he can actually see the future.
Stop poking holes in this scary story, Matt. It's really serious stuff. It's super serious stuff.
I'll go yell about it in my ranty room.
Let's see. Then the devil foresaw Pope Francis' downfall as channeled by the Exorcist. It predicted that the pontiff will die at the Vatican and not during a voyage. Quote, "The Pope will die falling," it said.
So in the shower.
"The pontifical keys are in the hands of the devil but are going to pass into the hands of Diaz," it went on. The story concludes by saying, while such claims can easily be dismissed as a product of delusional thinking, the fact that the Congregation for Institutes of Consecrated Life is investigating the cult suggests that the Vatican is deeply concerned. After all, Diaz is an honorary canon of the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. And I don't know what the fuck that last bit is.
Either do I.
Like, it seems that they have all kinds of...
It's what gang he belongs to. It's like your West Side, your East Side, your Crypt, your Blood.
No, Holmes, I'm from the honorary canon of the Papal Basilica of St. Mary Major in Rome. Essay.
I want to see what that hand signal looks like.
Yeah, bunch of fucking nonsense. But like I said, it just surprises me how they report this as if, they're honestly, seriously concerned about the influence of a non-existent being on the actions of people who are supposed to be devoted to and following another non-existent being, and how he interacts with the Pope, who is supposed to be the vicar of Christ.
Yeah.
In worshiping this non-existent being.
You know what I think is even worse and probably even more
It's like
sad?
just fucking all play pretend bullshit.
It is. It's fucking Bible LARPing. And the thing the thing that's funny about
I still want to make the Bible LARPing short film.
That would be pretty funny. The thing that's funny about it is even in their own theology, right? If you say, "Oh, okay, well, so if you just play dumb and you're like, well, so in your little fucking fantasy, well, don't say that to them. But if you say, okay, so who's the most powerful? Oh, God is. What about the devil? Nope, he's not more powerful than God. Then what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
What are you worried about?
Why does any of this bother you?
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
If God is more powerful, then you should just, this would be like...
It doesn't matter.
These guys are stupid.
As long as you're pious and you're aware of all this stuff that's going on, why do you care?
What I care about
they're fucking children.
The fact that...
And they're fucking children.
Speaking of children, there's probably a child being homeschooled that's reading this as current event news.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And see, honey, this is why we're not Catholics.
Yeah.
Because they get involved in all sorts of shady, demonic things.
Well, other people are going to look at this and they're going to read that part about what the devil said about the Pope, and they're going to be like, "Yep,
he's going to die falling."
That's why we're not. That's why we're not Catholic, because the Pope. See, even the devil's saying it. Even the Catholics are saying that the Pope is a bad guy.
This is Matt Dillahunty, and you're listening to the Godless Revolution.
The problem is to have a way of thinking about the world that doesn't allow you to reliably navigate because you are not basing your worldview on evidence and argument. That's the problem.
Hey everybody, this is X.
And I'm Kyle.
And I'm Felicia. We're the Utah Outcasts.
3 out, unashamed, and active atheists living in Utah.
And we are personally inviting you to let us love your ears each and every week.
As we take the news, current events, and pop culture and give it a little twist.
A Love Twist with consent.
And we'll be joined each week by a special guest to tell us what makes them an outcast like us.
Come find us.
The Utah Outcasts.
On podhell.com, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play,
Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
And on utahoutcast.com.
We finally bought that domain off the kids handing out mixtapes in the mall.
Come be an outcast with us.
Take care of yourselves out there.
Bonne nuit.
And you're welcome.
You and the Godless Revolution will be reassimilated in 3, 2, 1.
So what's the Mandela Effect?
Well, this I'll just read how this article starts
because I've never heard of it. Ryan said that he's familiar with it.
Yeah, when you mentioned it, I was like, I'm like, I've heard of it. Then when you start explaining, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm remembering that.
Yeah. So the Mandela Effect is like those moments where you're so sure that we recall something being a certain way, but in fact, they're in fact wrong. This experience is called that because many people felt certain that they could remember Nelson Mandela dying while he was imprisoned in the 80s, although in reality, Mandela only died in 2013.
Kind of like the whole Shazam thing that was going on with what was that actor's name that there was? Yeah, he did a Shazam movie in the 80s or 90s. He's like, no, I didn't.
What?
Yeah, there was
Shazam guy.
He's the comedian. He's a stand-up comedian.
Oh, Sinbad.
Everybody's like, oh yeah, Sinbad was in Shazam in 1990, whatever. And he's like, no, I've never been in one of the movies. But everyone was sure, dead set, that they knew they had seen a movie with him in it. Called Shazam.
Yeah. So, or kind of like how more people claim to have been at Woodstock than were actually at Woodstock. Yeah, but people swear they watched Mandela's funeral on TV more than 30 years ago and stuff. And so it's all based on false beliefs and how they start or that they start and how terrible people are at actually recalling information or, I mean, we're, as humans, we're like 100% sure that our memories are 100% accurate, but they really are pretty terrible. I mean, it's just...
Well, and they're constantly modified.
That too, yeah. So...
Which is also bad for criminal cases when you want a witness to recall
it's
information.
Terrible for that. Yeah, it's terrible for that. And it's funny, too, because what you end up with people who, like in certain professions, like police officers will claim to, or will give themselves a much higher rating in being able to detect lies than other people. But when they're tested, they do worse than average people at it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it like an inflated confidence in it?
I don't know.
Think they're just so good at it, or that's their job, so I better be good at it?
Maybe. And they just start picking at things that aren't really there or whatever. But yeah, but they tend to give themselves a really high rating on being able to detect lies in other people, and actually they test pretty poorly at it. Which does not instill a lot of confidence when you combine that with eyewitness testimony and how bad human memory is.
Yeah. Which is also why I'm sure police are just like us in fire. After you get back from a call, you're supposed to write down everything right away for your report on it, so that way it's the freshest in your mind.
Yeah, I'm sure they do, yeah.
Like James Comey.
Yes.
Right. So here are a few examples. Queen's We Are the Champions doesn't end how you think. Maybe some of you might think so. The legendary song We Are the Champions by Queen does not, in fact, end in the way that most people have in their minds. Those who know the song remember the end of the song being No Time for Losers because we are the champions of the world. But the song ends at We Are the Champions. Just like that.
Not of the world?
Nope. Discovering this drives fans crazy because they feel so sure that the song ended the other way.
Probably because of sporting events. Because at sporting events, they have an altered version of the song that ends in We Are the World, I think.
Yeah, well, and they usually don't play the whole thing.
Yeah,
either.
it's just that snippet, yeah.
It's not Oscar Mayer.
What?
I mean, it is said that way, but in fact, the Oscar Mayer brand of hot dogs and lunch meats is not spelled how you probably think. It's not M-E-Y-E-R, it's M-A-Y.
A-Y, yeah.
Well, that's why they made a song.
Yeah, I think that is why they made the song. But a lot of people spell it M-E-Y.
Because if I were an Oscar Mayer wiener, everyone would want to take a bite of me.
Mm-hmm.
That is very sexual.
The Monopoly Man does not have a monocle.
I didn't think he did.
Even in the picture on the box?
He's just got a top hat.
Many people think that the Monopoly man, rich Uncle Pennybags, from the addictive board game has a monocle, but in actual fact, he does not. Sorry to break it to you. Maybe people have been confusing him with Mr. Peanut, who also wears a top hat and has a cane, but they are not the same person. And either way, there are too many people who cannot conceptualize that the Monopoly man does not have a monocle.
Well, that what was it, Ace Ventura in the Wild or whatever? There is number 2 where he goes
on the safari.
Yeah, the safari one. And when he's at the house, some guy who's supposed to look like Mr. Pennybags. What is his name from Monopoly?
Uncle Pennybags.
Uncle Pennybags. He's supposed to look like Uncle Pennybags, but Ace Ventura knocks him out and then grabs him, and he's this little dude, but the guy has a monocle, and he knocks him out, and then he's doing shit with him. Anyway,
I gotta Google Monopoly now.
Yeah.
The tip of Pikachu's tail is not black.
I don't even know what the fucking Pikachu looks like. For the most part.
Pikachu.
So apparently that's another one that people remember seeing. They recall the tip of his tail being black, but it's not.
Huh.
The Berenstain Bears are actually called the Berenstain Bears.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. This one's been around. The correction has been around for a while. But yeah, it is Berenstain. It's not Stein or Steen. It's Berenstain.
Yep.
Curious George never had a tail.
What?
Really?
A monkey with no tail? Was the artist just fucking lazy?
Well, he's a chimp, so.
I always picture him with a tail for some reason.
I kind of did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one I definitely pictured him with a tail.
Yep. There are many people that claim to clearly recall seeing Curious George use his tail in order to swing from trees, but the monkey Curious George, well, he's not a monkey, right? But that's what this says. Never really had a tail. If you look at pictures of him, you'll see that you've been seriously mistaken for years. And everyone by now knows this one. Darth Vader never said, "Luke, I am your father." He in fact said, "No, I am your father."
Huh.
Did you not know that? I thought you would have.
Well,
known that.
I mean, I've heard people say that. Well, and for some reason I saw recent stories about it, but yeah, I just saw that somebody said Darth Vader doesn't say, "Luke, I am your father," and then I didn't bother to read the story because I was busy with other shit.
Yeah. Yep. C-3PO is not completely gold.
His dong?
Right, he has like one leg is silver, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he has an entire leg that's silver. And most Star Wars memorabilia doesn't include the silver leg.
Well, it's just easier the other way.
Yeah.
That's weird that people's mistaken perception would translate into items being altered from what they really are.
Yeah, rather than going to the original material for reference, they're just like, nope, he's gold.
Yeah. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Probably reduces manufacturing costs.
Oh, for sure,
too.
yeah.
That is crazy, because I just looked up an image. So, like, there's an image of him, all gold, but then you go to the other image of him, and boom, it's got a silver lower, was that left leg?
Yeah.
Right leg.
Right leg.
Yeah.
Your left looking at him.
Yeah. I did that in my brain. I'm like, okay, it's my left looking at him, so it's...
What percentage of his leg is silver?
Half. 50%.
Half. 45.
Yeah, I guess you have to be bad at math to get anywhere in the agency.
You do. You gotta be shit-tastic at it.
Be given special powers.
Yeah, exactly what percentage of your nose is brown?
Ooh, all of it?
100. That's correct.
But I just looked up an interesting photo.
He's just like, never mind that. Look at this photo I have on my phone.
No, of an interesting reason why people might have thought his leg was mostly gold.
Why?
Because it is silver and it's very reflective, so it's got a mirrored surface on it. So not only is it reflecting the other leg next to it, but the sand is reflecting up at it too, so it gives it kind of a golder appearance when you're out in the desert.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Mr. Rogers' theme song opening line is different than people recall. In the Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood introduction, Fred Rogers, who both created and starred in the show, would sing a short jingle called Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Won't you be my neighbor?
Many people recall that it began with the line, "It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood." But this is not what the line was.
Did you say like, hello, neighbor?
What is actually said is, "It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood."
Oh. Well, yeah, because your neighborhood sucks.
Although only a very slight difference, it simply does not sound right to those who really had it in their mind for years that the wording was stated the other way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This one's kind of interesting. People think the Mona Lisa is smiling now, although she used to be emotionless. There are many people who will not give up on their belief that the legendary Mona Lisa has changed. They claim to clearly remember her having a straight, emotionless face. But somehow they feel as though she's obtained a newfound smirk.
The devil.
Well, that's some pretty inventive painting.
Yeah.
Some advanced technology.
The paint is drooping upwards?
Right, but it's just a great example of how memories shift, or memory are mistaken, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's also
you draw your own image.
A credit to Leonardo's ability too. But
well, it's a very subtle smile.
It is. Well, maybe the painting underneath is actually showing through, because there's another painting underneath the Mona Lisa, because he was very famous.
You got to get out of that Illuminati bullshit.
No,
man.
it's not the Illuminati thing. It's just that he was well known for reusing canvases.
Yeah, just painting over it.
Yeah,
previous works or stuff that
it wasn't good, or he started
really
something didn't like it, so you'd paint over it.
Just making sure that you haven't been compromised by both the British agency and
the Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
Well, the Illuminati came from Britain.
Paint thinner doesn't burn that hot, Ryan. And here you go. People still remember a Sinbad genie movie from the 90s, but there isn't one. Yep.
But you know what was funny? That Sinbad went and made a fake version of that movie, made it look like a shitty VHS fucking tape copy of it, put it up on the internet with someone else's fucking name on it. And then people are like, see, there it is. Then Sinbad comes out on April Fool's and goes, gotcha.
Nice.
It's probably because he always kind of wore like silky, shimmery shit that...
Yeah. He looks like a genie.
Yeah, he does kind of look like a genie.
Or it's just a racist thing, because Shaquille O'Neal was Shazam.
Yeah.
Was it Shazam or Kazam?
Kazam.
It was Kazam in 1996 with Shaq.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now
but
who's the racist?
Well, I'm just don't know my movies that well that were shitty.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. Like, I can picture Sinbad as a genie just because of the type of clothing that he always wears.
Yeah, and he was a big comedian at that time, doing a lot of those kind of. Well, I don't think he did. He didn't really do like the kids type movies, did he?
Kind of. I mean, he had that TV show that he was in was, sitcom.
Yeah.
Family type stuff.
But that's the 90s.
Yeah.
Everything was sitcom related.
Mm-hmm. True.
It appears as though the majority of fans of the movie Forrest Gump recall him saying that his mama would always say life is like a box of chocolates. Truth be told, he actually said life was like a box of chocolates. He never said that his mom always said that before that line. It was always just life is like a box of chocolates.
But he did say mama always said in the movie a few times.
Yeah,
for different
parts.
things. Yeah.
People have sort of meshed those together.
Yeah. And Robin Wright is Jenny. And we were talking about a couple episodes back about how
Wonder Woman.
I've recently come to realize all of these different roles that Robin Wright has played that I had no idea or didn't tie together.
Yeah, she's good.
She was Jen, eh?
She was she June? Was
Cleaver?
she Benny and June?
No, that's Mary Margaret Muggerburger.
Oh, okay.
Muggerburger?
Yeah. Benny and June. I'll look up the actress's name, but it's not Robin Wright.
Okay. Hannibal Lecter, this one is crazy. Oh yeah, Mary Stuart Masterson.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did I say? Mary Margaret Murderburg?
I think you said exactly what you
said. Booger burglar.
I got the Mary part right.
Hannibal Lecter never said hello, Clarice.
Hello, Clarice.
Apparently, he never said that
at all.
If you've seen this film, Silence of the Lambs, then there is no way you don't know the famous line "Hello, Clarice." But the thing is, the line was never said. When Clarice meets Hannibal for the first time, all he says is good morning. Nothing more. Pretty crazy how a well-known movie could have some famous lines that never happened. There's no clear explanation for this.
That one,
screaming, Clarice.
I would have fallen for that one.
Yeah, that one I was surprised by.
That and the monocle one so far.
That one, the monkey.
Yeah, the monkey. Yeah. I heard the Star Wars one. I think I've heard a couple of these other before, but
there have been 3 for me so far. I can't remember. It was Curious George.
Oh, C-3PO.
No, I knew that one.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
I knew the I'm Your Father one.
Yeah, well, I knew that one, but not, like I said, I just had seen headlines about it recently.
Do you guys remember that vampire movie in the 90s with Tom Cruise and...
Interview with the Vampire.
What'd you say?
Interview with the Vampire.
I still can't tell. It's titled Interview with the Vampire.
With the Vampire.
I couldn't tell if you were saying a vampire or the
I was
vampire.
saying a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Interview with the Vampire. It's a weird one. The Queen in Snow White never said mirror, mirror on the wall.
Now that... what?
The first line of this paragraph is, now this one is a big shocker.
That one is that one's a shocker for me.
The famous quote from the film Snow White that you've probably said yourself or at least heard others say is, of course, mirror, mirror on the wall. But what had actually been said in the film was magic mirror on the wall. Most people also remember the second part of the line being, who is the fairest of them all? But the second line is, who is the fairest one of all? Weird, right?
Huh.
So magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all? Is the line.
Yep, got me there.
So,
yeah, that's 4 for me, I think.
Yeah, that one got me too. Jiffy is not a peanut butter.
Nope, it's just Jif.
Jif. Mm-hmm.
Ah. I like me some Jiffy Smooth.
Nope, it's just Jif.
But there's Jiffy Pop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is a popcorn.
Yes.
Not a soda.
Yes.
I had to say that because people in the Northeast say pop instead of soda.
Yeah.
And since you're from there and have that accent.
Wait, Ryan's not from the Northeast.
Pop.
From the Midwest.
Well,
he's from the northern Midwest.
Yeah, sorry.
We get a combination of both. We say soda, we say pop.
That's why when you said
it's certainly east of here.
That's why when you said people in the Northeast say pop, I was like, no, we
no,
don't.
Yeah.
The only thing we didn't say was, you want a Coke? Unless you wanted
Referring
a Coca-Cola.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a Southern thing, I think, isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how long you guys are going to go on these, but there's a few more.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of cool.
I want to see how many of them I fuck up on.
Contrary to the famous line you without a doubt remember from the movie E.T., is this quote, E.T. phone home. The extraterrestrial actually, you remember the extraterrestrial actually saying E.T. phone home. This, let's see. This...
As I, for some reason, I just remember him screaming, phone home, phone home, phone home.
Yeah. And eat.
Okay, the quote is actually E.T. home phone.
Oh. Okay.
So it just says to take a second look at the scene. But in your defense, Little Gertie does, in fact, say E.T. phone home in response to his request.
To correct him?
Yeah, or
to better understand the extraterrestrial, because what 13-year-old boy doesn't have conversations with an extraterrestrial?
I think Gertie was the girl.
That was Drew Barrymore, right?
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Because Elliot was...
Yep.
Elliot.
Mm-hmm.
And Firestarter. Was Firestarter before E.T.? I think
After.
It was. It was after?
Pretty sure it was after.
Because she's still a really young child in both of them.
Yeah, pretty sure it was after.
Okay.
Smokey the Bear is actually really just Smokey Bear. No the.
Oh.
It's just Smokey Bear.
I work for a fucking fire department, and we have a Smokey the Bear costume.
Oh, really?
Does it have a label? Smokey the Bear?
It might. You know what? Something I heard that was interesting about Smokey the Bear, or Smokey Bear. The reason why there might be two definitions to it.
He starts too many fires?
No, because when he was originally conceived, the National Park Service...
His parents were like, "Arr, arr, arr." Sorry. That was fucking stupid.
The National Park Service didn't trademark the name. So someone else went out and trademarked the name so they could have the ownership.
Oh, really? Huh. It's a dick move.
It is. But money talks.
Yeah.
So the noodle soup brand Cup of Noodles does not actually have the word "of" in its name.
No, it's just
cup noodles.
Oh, really?
It's Asian.
Wow, I'm double fucked on that one.
It's just cup noodles.
Like, I don't even go with the mainstream thing of what they think is wrong.
Yeah. And it says this doesn't even grammatically make sense, let alone match up with our memories. So to be fair, it was in fact called Cup O Noodles until 1993.
Oh, see? Well, there you go.
But yeah, how did it change suddenly 23 years ago without anyone really noticing? Maybe you're confusing it with Lipton's Cup of Soup.
Ooh.
No. Because that's actually
Soup.
Cup of Soup, isn't
That's
it?
Cup A.
Cup
It's
soup?
Cup-A-soup.
Yeah. Well, and the cup soup used to be Irish, and now it's not.
Oh, Jesus.
Potatoes?
It was Cup O Soup, and now it's not.
Soup.
Yeah.
Now it's just cup soup.
Yeah. Not like my fucking Lucky Charms.
Yeah, because everyone knows noodles and chicken broth is such a classic Irish dish.
It is.
Of course it is.
Whiteout is WITE-out. No H.
That one I would have missed also. Yeah.
Yep. And
Yeah, I could have sworn there's an H in there.
If I made a shopping list and had to put whiteout on it, there would have been an H.
So easy on your Alex Jones stuff for this one, the JFK assassination, Ryan.
Okay.
Can you remember exactly how many people were in the car when President Kennedy was shot?
I wanted to say 4.
I think there's 5.
5 because you get driver, Kennedy and Mrs. Kennedy in the back, McConnelly front right because he also got shot. And was there a person sitting between McConnelly and the driver?
Well, no, I think his wife was in the back seat, wasn't she? Maybe. I don't know.
So most people will say 4. Kennedy, Jackie, Connolly, and the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in fact, there were 6 people.
Oh.
In the car? Well, how many in the trunk?
The other 2 being Mrs. Connolly and another anonymous man.
Where the fuck were they sitting? I know it's got big seats in there, but I thought it was just the president and his wife in the back seat.
This is one of the biggest examples of the Mandela Effect. The car was definitely only a 4-seater, but if you take a look now anywhere, it's a 6-seater.
So there's 3 in the back, 3 in the front?
Mm-hmm.
Because I always imagine when you see the famous photo
The
of
Zapruder film?
No, of Jackie Kennedy reaching off the back of the car. It was just Kennedy was slumped
to collect bits of his brain.
For his yummy brains.
Yeah. I always just in my head remember seeing, Kennedy slumped over in a seat and Jackie reaching out the back and no one else sitting in that back seat with them unless the person was ducked down, possibly.
Yeah, and I for whatever reason I imagined that there were 5.
That's better than I did. I thought 4.
With Kennedy being in the middle of the back seat and Jackie to his left, and then I thought O'Connell's wife was behind him in the back seat. But there's an anonymous. They don't even name him.
Yeah, they don't even name him, which is weird.
Huh.
Oh, no, you're wrong. I'm right, and you're right too.
What? Who?
Oh God, is this a percentages thing?
To whom are you speaking?
2, 2, and 2.
Oh,
2, 2, and 2.
Yeah, it is a 6-seater.
It's a 6-seater,
but,
but
two
there's
benches.
It's not 2 benches. There's 3 benches.
3 rows of 2 seats.
Oh wow.
That's why I'm like, I don't remember anybody sitting in the middle in any of those photos, and that's why because.
So we're all fucked on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's because whenever you watch JFK stuff, you're not like, oh, where's Governor Connolly's wife? You're like, let me see some skull.
Yeah. And it's still a 2-door car.
Right.
And because they removed the top off of it for the day because it was a nice day out.
Yeah. Huh. Well, that's all very interesting.
Hi, this is Justin Schieber, formerly of the Reasonable Doubts podcast and currently of Real Atheology, and you are listening to the Godless Revolution.
If you base medicine on science, you cure people. If you base the design of planes on science, they fly. If you base the design of rockets on science, they reach the moon. It works. Bitches.
Well, we got other things. What things do you have, sir?
I don't have any newses.
No?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, we have other newses here.
Actually,
I was surprised you didn't write out a quick rant.
I was working on something.
I saw you over there writing.
That's not for today.
Oh, it's for a future thing here. You do have newses, perhaps?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this little thing.
All right.
Ooh, this little thing.
Ice is a good insulator, says Stephen Desch, a planetary scientist at ASU in Tempe. That's why moons such as Jupiter's, Europa, and Saturn's Enceladus, among others, may be able to maintain liquid oceans beneath their thick, icy surfaces. On Earth, sea ice is much thinner, but the physics is the same. Ice grows on the bottom surface of floating flows. As the water freezes, it releases heat that must make its way up through the ice before escaping into the air. The thicker the ice, the more heat gets trapped, which slows down ice formation.
Okay.
That's bad news for the Arctic, where ice helps keep the planet cool, but global warming is causing ice to melt faster than it can be replaced. The answer to making thicker ice more quickly: suck up near freezing water from under the ice and pump it directly onto the ice's surface during the long polar winter. There, the water would freeze more quickly than underneath the ice where it usually forms. In theory, Desch says, the pumps used for this top-down approach to the ice growth could be driven by technology no more sophisticated than windmills that have long provided water to farms and ranches on the Great Plains. Desch and colleagues envision putting such pumps on millions of buoys throughout the Arctic. During winter, each pump would be capable of building an entire layer of sea ice up to a meter thick over an area of about 100,000 square meters, or about the size of 15 soccer fields, the researchers estimate in a magazine called Earth's Future. Now is the time to begin detailed designs and build prototypes, he says. The Arctic Ocean's end of summer sea ice coverage is decreased on average more than 13% per decade since 1979. There will be a time 10 or 15 years from now when Arctic sea ice will be accelerating to oblivion, and there will be political will to do something about climate change. We'll need to have this figured out by the time people are ready to do something.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's all theoretical at this point, but I thought it was kind of an interesting idea.
It's always been my understanding that, yeah, once the ice is gone, it's gone. Like, it's not just going to...
Yeah, it sounds like this may help
bring it back, but I mean, you got to do it before it's completely
before it's all gone and it's too warm to make
to bring it back. Yeah.
I mean, is that a real threat that the Arctic will be above freezing all year round?
Well, that's what with like global warming. If it gets to an extreme side of it, and the caps melt, then it'll just go completely wild with heating.
Because it will release more greenhouse
gases, all the methane, everything else is trapped in that ice will then be released.
So then it'd be a runaway greenhouse effect. Okay.
And it's not like, oh, winter's going to come around. It's like, no, winter ain't fucking coming back.
Well, yeah, it would be the increase in greenhouse gases. It would also be that you don't have that ice to reflect off a lot of the sun's rays.
Right.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting. That they could just maybe make some more ice.
And I
bet they won't.
And I think that's partly where that 2-degree temperature, saying, hey, this is the death zone here for our Earth, because that's the temperature of the ocean, and that's going to help melt off the ice caps even faster. And
that's kind of the tipping point.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Lloyd Evans. I'm a former Jehovah's Witness. I'm the author of The Reluctant Apostate and senior editor of jwsurvey.org. And you are listening to The Godless Revolution.
I remember making an absolute
well, I won't say full of myself, I was expelled from a meeting of Latter-day Saints when I first went to Salt Lake City. I just literally, as a tourist, and I was wandering around, and this person in a grey shift came up to me and said, "Would you like to see around?" And I said, "Well, that's very kind." And then she started gathering others, and I realized she was a Mormon who was doing a tour, and presumably there was a little bit of recruitment going along, because they're a very proselytizing sect, as you know, the Mormons. Anyway, but she gave us a good tour, and we saw this tabernacle here and this here and so on. And then at one point she said, "I just want to tell you a little about the Church of Latter-day Saints." And we all politely stood. And then she said how in the afterlife, all families will be reunited, and you'll be with your families forever. So I put my hand up and said, "But what happens if you've been good?" She said, "Could you leave, please?" Because everyone started laughing. But I mean, what a ridiculous idea. How is that supposed to be attractive? That you're going to be stuck with every aunt and every cousin and every, oh, good gracious, every, alcoholic or slightly deviant uncle. I mean, Jesus, it's just the most awful destiny imaginable. And they think that's a USP. That's what our church promises. Good Lord.
Thank you to everybody who has rated the show on iTunes and Stitcher and are following us on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And to all our Patreon patrons, you make the show possible.
Alex Jones has a new alter ego.
He sure does.
It looks like he's been to the Olympics. And he's from Boston.
I like the hair, really.
Is that hair? I thought that was one of those, like, gopher hats.
A what?
Those, like, the hats where it's, like, it slopes down the
like
front.
the caddy hat? Or what
yeah,
are those
I don't know.
called?
I have no clue what they're called.
They got, like, the snap on the front of them.
Like an old Newsies hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a name for them.
Yeah, there is a name for
I
them.
thought he was wearing, like, one of those style of hats, but...
It's a newsboy hat.
Maybe
Is that
it
what
is
it's
a wig.
called?
I don't know. That's what it's called on Fallout 4.
Yeah. Huh.
I don't know if that's what it's actually called.
Well, this is not a hat. It's a bad wig.
Very bad.
Terrible.
Because there's a shadow on his forehead from the wig. That's why I thought it was a hat.
Yeah.
He looks like what a clown.
Yeah.
I'm going to play this video. It's about 3 minutes.
Welcome to Brain Fight, ladies and gentlemen, with the real Tuck Buckford.
Brain fight?
With Tuck Buckford?
How can he have a fight with something he so clearly lacks?
I don't know. He's still fighting with it.
No,
I'm going to destroy you, brain.
That's what his show's all about, fighting brains. Fighting everyone else's brains.
And I tell you, I want to thank tonight CBS News for allowing me to set the record straight about a public enemy number one and a scourge of America and the world. I'm not talking about Stephen Colbert. I'm talking about Alex Jones of InfoWars. That enemy of America stole my identity back in high school and my manly power and my manly voice. He took it from me and then spread his evil lies across the country and the world.
Where the fuck is he going with this?
Alex Jones stole somebody's manly identity.
Yeah.
But did you see that he threw up a picture of himself on the cover of Forbes and the headline read, "This man got Trump elected"?
Yeah. Yeah, no ego inserted there at all.
Right. I mean, obviously he made that, for anybody wondering.
Country in the world. And he stole not just my persona, he then projected his right-wing, evil, unalloyed racist views over me. And then that got picked up by Stephen Colbert, who unknowingly stole the identity of someone that had stolen my identity. So here tonight,
Did you guys, were you able to track that?
Someone unknowingly stole his identity of the guy who stole his identity?
I thought what he was saying was that Stephen Colbert stole Alex Jones' identity, who stole it from Tuck Buckford.
Who then returned it to Santa Claus and was given out as a prize on Jimmy's 5th Christmas.
So here tonight, thanks to CBS, here at Brain Fight with the real Tuck Buckford, I am going to set the record straight about the fact that Alex Jones is a damn liar. I want to bring up my next guest, Donald John Trump. He's been on the show before, but he's now joining us again, and he better keep his mouth shut here for a minute, because I'm not like Alex Jones. I don't believe in political violence. That's why I promote it continually. That's called the oxymoron leftist mind control system that I bought into because I want to be.
What is he fucking saying?
So he has like a piñata that looks a little bit like Trump.
With two mouths.
The hands are way too big.
Yeah.
Those are life-size hands. It's just the body's small,
The body's
2.5 feet tall.
Nice. Oh, but he.
I think the mouth thing is it's supposed to be showing his entire bottom row of teeth, like Trump does sometimes, and that bottom lip is. It just doesn't look quite right.
But there's a piece above the bottom teeth though. That looks fleshy.
Oh. Well, I don't know.
I think he bought a reject.
It's pretty weird.
I bought into because I want to be in charge. We have a record high stock market, $3+ trillion, and he took us out of these multinational secret deals that took over Congress, like the TPP and the carbon tax. And now new big studies and mainstream news report it wasn't 3.3 million illegals that may have voted.
Wait, the carbon tax took over Congress,
and that was a secret government deal.
Well, it was so secretive we all knew about it.
News report it wasn't 3.3 million illegals that may have voted, but 5.7. So he lied to us. He said it was only 3.2, 3.3. He lied to us when it was 2 million or more than that. And he's the biggest liar keeping his promises I've ever seen. So when they have Shakespeare in the Park saying kill Trump, it's no big deal. Madonna says
they did.
He's
say
referencing the
Trump.
Julius Caesar plane.
Yeah.
You guys heard anything about this?
I've heard a lot. I looked at a lot of stuff about this, and
yeah, they a recent depiction of Julius Caesar. They make the costumes have basically Caesar as Trump, and so then they made this big deal about they're assassinating Trump. Because, of course, in Julius Caesar, he's assassinated by Brutus. And, yeah. And, yeah, it's a bunch of just hyperbolic bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And kill Trump, it's no big deal. Madonna says kill him, blow him up. It's the coolest thing to do in the world, but the left then claims that the right wing's violent, because they are. I just want to say, this isn't violent at all, okay? This right here, this is not violent at all, but I do this to Trump. You understand? Let me just explain that to everybody.
So he's trying to prove a point that violence against the president or a representation of the president is bad, while he's committing violence against a representation of the president?
Yeah, he's got a weird, novelty tomahawk, and he still can't even break the freaking head open on that piñata.
Well, and he's forgetting the fact that over the last 8 years under Obama, how many times was it insinuated, hey, why don't you just go assassinate the guy, or kill him, or hey, rise up, use your Second Amendment.
Or burning him in effigy, or lynching him in effigy.
But he agreed with all that.
Yeah.
But yet it's the liberals who are the violent ones.
Only the ones who want to punch Nazis.
Yeah. I mean, that's still violence, but sometimes I agree with the Nazi being punched.
Explain that to everybody. If I sit here and just start ripping his head off and doing this is liberal and this is open and we ban free speech on colleges and arrest everybody, it's a good thing, okay? So, let's get that straight right now, that the real Tuck Buckford's here and Alex Jones and all the rest of them better understand that we run this country now, like North Korea, and I like Colbert. And I want the tens of millions he gets selling out America. I love it. I absolutely love it. Yeah. Tuck Buckford loves Colbert. I hate Alex Jones. It's brain fight. Yeah.
I am rather confused at that.
He
that
is
one was
out of his mind.
That was fucking insane.
When I watch his videos, I don't know, it seems like something that junior high school students would put on, like that they think is hilarious, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not.
Like an underdeveloped sense of self-worth and security and an overinflated sense of ego mixed with a really shitty sense of humor.
And a lack of maturity.
Yeah. Definitely lack of maturity.
The thing I find really concerning about him, though, is, he's clearly unstable. And it's not like unstable in the way that I am, because because I have moments of clarity.
He's unstable and he's hit the crack pipe too many times.
Yeah, but the thing is, and it's very apparent in that last video. At least I hope I have moments of clarity. I actually might not. I might. Maybe I'm not the best one to be judging that. But
well, crazy people think they're sane. So.
Yeah, exactly. But when you can see a shift in him, his entire body, face, and everything. When he gets that tomahawk going, when he starts manually ripping the piñata apart from the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it. It just like this washes over him. This power and violence and rage. Yeah, and he can't get himself back. He goes to the tomahawk and then he just starts shaking, and he's you can see it, like this guy is really dangerous.
I think he might have been pissed the fact that he couldn't get the tomahawk to cut off Trump's head.
Oh, he might have been, but you see how he feeds off of that actual violence, though.
The stuff he was yelling is not true.
Well, it's also barely coherent.
Like the whole free speech on college campuses. I'm like, no, there's still free speech on college campuses. Free speech on college campuses by the students is what got a lot of these people so they can't speak on their fucking campus.
Well, and he does seem to feed off of a lot of the things that he says. Like it's this cycle where he says something that he then, whether he believes it or not, buys into, and then he starts with violent rhetoric, and then he gets into pounding on the table or screaming or tearing his shirt or waving a tomahawk around, and it just starts spiraling. And it's not even like a slow buildup. It's like he goes from he might be okay to this guy is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just always right under the surface with him. I mean, it makes me
like a gorilla.
It's like, the people around him probably I don't know.
It would make me uneasy having to be there.
Safe. Yeah. I wouldn't feel safe around him.
Hey, all you dirty cis people out there who think you run the world. This is the trans podcaster, Marissa Alexa McCool, coming to say that you should go sit in the corner and listen to other people talk. And the people you should listen to are the Godless Revolution folks, because they're the good kind of cis people. We don't have to shame them just as much. So you go ahead and listen to them, and then you come listen to us so we can tell them why they need to apologize.
We're going to take it. And we're going to take it hard, and we're going to take it strong, and I will work with overwhelming force. Everything in the butt. Hey.
Rejoining the Godless Revolution podcast now.
All right, and now on to a feeble old man who can't hurt anybody.
Well,
Alex Jones is actually pretty beefy dude, too.
He's got rage power.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like crazy person strong.
Yeah?
That's only funny because of the pre-show conversation.
You're welcome. It's no wonder, though, that Jim Bakker thinks that God believes you should be a prepper.
Oh,
yeah, that.
I wonder why he would profit from that.
We're going to need to buy buckets of some type or whatever.
Yeah.
That might be harmful. So when you say feeble old man, watch out. He's selling you fucking poison.
You need to be prepared. Are you a prepper? Would you call yourself a prepper?
Yeah.
Duh. I'm here on your shitty show, aren't I?
Think I'm some kind of dipshit?
Oh, and he's got a goddamn stupid cross hat, too. He's got a little
shield.
fucking ball cap with a cross on it, just like fucking dumbass Meyer.
Inside a shield, even.
Yeah. It should be on a sword, because that's how they use it.
Oh, yeah.
I so want to make that shield upside down.
Yeah. I wrote a book about it, yes.
Yeah.
Big
it's like a Templar's hat.
It's Velcroed on.
It's like a Knights Templar hat.
It is. It does look like it's Velcroed on, right? Like he's got a big Velcro.
Because that looks like a military cap where you Velcro your patch onto the front, whether it's your unit patch or an American flag or whatever patch.
Yeah.
Because it's got that rectangular patch shape, but he's
Velcro landing strip. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude! I could pull you out of the fucking snow with her necklace. The size of that chain.
Well, no, it's gold. Gold is a very soft metal, so it'll probably break.
And practical prepping as
Wonder where the
far
money's
as food and all of that.
What people don't understand, especially Christians, is that God...
He's got he's got a flag-shaped strip of Velcro that he's apparently ripped the flag off and stuck a shield that doesn't fit over the Velcro on top of it.
Yep.
Just for this show, I'm guessing. Like, it looks spiffy. Now, let's not buy a new one. Let's just...
I wonder what he wears on there ordinarily. Like, what did the hat come with?
Dick and balls.
I'm with Jesus.
Some flag, I'm guessing.
People don't understand, especially with Christians, is that God mandates it. He tells us to do this. He says, always be ready.
Now, that guy's voice, I'm sorry to say, does not fit the persona I thought I was going to be getting.
Yeah. Well, but it's interesting that he says that Christians don't seem to know their own theology.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
We've known that for a really long fucking time, but then assholes like this come along and go, no, you don't know, so I'm going to tell you what it is, and I can just basically tell you whatever the fuck I want, because I know you'll still never go out and read the fucking scriptures.
And some other Christian can come along and say, you don't know how to be a Christian because we're not supposed to wear it in public like a badge of honor, which is exactly what you're fucking doing on your hat.
Yeah.
He tells us to do this. He says, always be ready to share the hope in meekness and fear. Always means always. Always is in good times. Always is in bad times. Always. And
and he's quoting 1 Peter 3:15.
Right, which actually also in 1 Peter 3:15 has an admonishment from God to also be ready to answer any question people have about your faith.
Right, well, that's what it's talking about. I mean, even the text that they have up on the screen here is just an excerpt of 3:15. Like, they put it up as if they're going to show you all of Peter 3:15, but it's not. It starts with, it does. So it says, but sanctify the Lord God in your hearts, always be ready to give an answer to every man who asks.
Right.
Who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you with gentleness and fear. So you should always be prepared to defend your faith and explain why you believe what you do. I don't know what that has to do with fucking storing
slop buckets
of food.
Fear. Always means always. Always is in good times. Always is in bad times. Always. And if we are not always ready, then how do we share the hope?
Right.
And by being prepared, by having food on hand, by having these things on hand, it's less.
He's tying 1 Peter 3:15 to having fucking slop buckets.
He is.
Jesus. Less of a distraction now that the enemy can use against us.
That's right.
And now I have that freedom because I'm not burdened with, oh, wow, what are my kids going to eat?
Right.
Or whatever. And I can now share the hope.
Exactly.
Yeah, worrying about feeding my kids is such a burden.
Not only that, but like worrying. Dude, if you spend your life so worried about what you're going to feed your kids in the apocalypse that you can't have a conversation with somebody for a second, you're fucking wasting your life, dude.
Right.
Or whatever, and I can now share the hope.
Exactly. And people will listen about Jesus. We've said it a million times on this broadcast.
How long has she been on TV and she just talked right over that applause break?
Well, if you can't tell, it's like she had a stroke.
Yeah, she said it a million times.
Yeah.
Is her chin made of taffy? That's what it looked like when she was trying to say that. It was like she's struggling to keep her face together as she's saying words.
Like her mouth is all pursed.
And no, I mean, play it again. Looks like she's fighting really hard to keep her face in one piece.
I can't move it too much or it will fall apart.
I'm also looking at her gold microphone earring.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that's just the microphone coming up from behind her earring.
I was just thinking that's where she attached it to. But you are right, because I can see the top part of it now.
And about Jesus, we've said it a million times on this broadcast, but I know for a decade I worked in the inner city, went down, and that's how ended up adopting our kids and all of that.
That's called
by
community
meeting them
service.
in the inner city. But you know what? We would always go down and feed them first. Give those little babies, give those little
That's why the
tummies
fuck
some
you were
food.
there.
And then we would
Not
teach
to
them
eat in
Bible
front of them.
stories and teach them about
We would go down there and feed them, so now we've got a captive audience and we
yeah.
can teach them about Jesus.
Yep.
Since we put all that sleeping medicine in the food, they can't go nowhere.
We didn't go there and give them food for nothing. They're going to fucking listen to what we got to say now.
Bible stories and teach them about Jesus. And then they would want us to meet their moms, typically, usually dads.
Because their moms are starving also. Maybe you could give mom some food.
Mom wanted some slop as well.
Mom was out working to help support us, and you gave us some food. Maybe you could give mom some food too, so she doesn't have to work quite so fucking hard.
Sorry, all we have are Jesus sandwiches.
Usually dads weren't around, but typically moms. And
Dads were all in jail.
Usually dads weren't around, typically moms.
So we could prey on them. They were easier victims.
Mm-hmm.
But typically moms. And the next thing you know, 20 years later, Jim and Lori Bakker adopt 5 Mexican kids, and they were from the inner city. But
hey,
that's how...
adopt American.
They took our birds.
Come over here taking our kids.
Took our birds.
Oh, parents, yeah.
And they were from the inner city. But that's how it happens. And so that is so real because you have to be practical with the food. That's why we have all these amazing food offers for you. I know, Jim, you were going to go to one earlier, but we have these individual buckets now that we have available, like the Fiesta bucket, probably Mondo's favorite.
Oh, brother. Fiesta bucket for their children.
Yeah, since we're talking about Mexicans.
Fiesta pail, actually.
Yeah, because a pail is for an individual serving, and it still says 196 servings. That's the individual?
Wow.
I keep worrying about the people who never started.
Me too.
Get ready.
Me too. Just do something. Just do something to get.
I went grocery shopping yesterday.
Was your family preppers? How did
my
you
mother
buy it naturally?
my mother is a Depression era child, and because of that, I learned a lot of that.
I learned to hoard shit. My mother was a prepper, and Jesus never came during her lifetime.
Right.
So after being promised that it would happen.
Yeah, so I watched her work hard to waste all of that, and I'm going to do the same.
I learned a lot of that. And then I was in the military. I was in special operations and learned a lot of stuff there. Yeah. And then the Loma Prieta earthquake also had a lot of effect on me. Mm-hmm. Other events like Rita and Katrina had effects on me. So it's all these things combined.
He wasn't talking about the hurricanes. He was talking about those 2 women who did him wrong.
All of these things that either his God caused or prevented from happening.
Yeah.
Gave him sure signs that he'd better do something.
And if he just has lived in all the places where there have been these major earthquakes and natural disasters, you just got shit fucking luck.
Or maybe God hates you, buddy, and you're fucking over everybody else wherever you go.
It's all these things combined has created this preparedness mindset, and I live it. I live a preparedness mindset.
Sure you do. Jim Bakker and his slop buckets. Jeebus Christmas.
Getting fucking sloppy.
A blessing from the Lord. God be praised.
I want to remind everybody about our drawing.
Yes.
Matt was not here last week, so he may not be aware of it. I know today's episode went out today. So
or last week's went out today.
Last week's episode went out to. Anyway, you said you haven't listened to the last episode or the most recent episode yet. So you are not aware.
I heard enough. Thank you.
We did play selected bits prior to recording this episode.
Matt loved them.
But I wanted to remind everybody that we are having a drawing. This drawing is for those of you awesome listeners who go out to iTunes or Stitcher and give us a 5-star review if you feel we are worthy and would like to be entered into a drawing. If you have already given us a 5-star review, please go out and screenshot your review and send us an email with that screenshot to godlessrevolution@gmail.com, and we will enter you into a drawing for fabulous prizes. This drawing will run through the end of July.
That gives you extra time.
Yeah, that's scheduled to be episode 167. So we'll hold the drawing while we are recording that episode.
Maybe we could even Facebook Live it while we're recording.
We could do that maybe.
Well, we can just do it from one of our phones if you decide to do it.
Yeah. Either way, that's the day that we'll be holding the drawing. Yeah. But that gives you plenty of time from now until that time to go out and submit a 5-star review. Again, only if you feel that we are worthy and would like to be entered into the drawing. Then take a screenshot of that, send it in to us at thegodlessrevolution@gmail.com. And at the end of the month, we will hold a drawing for a fabulous prize.
Yeah. And the reason why you need to email it to us is because we don't know who the hell you are on iTunes with your
Right, because
names.
your screen name or user ID or anything doesn't really tell us much of anything, nor does it give us any contact information for you. So I want to say, too, that if you are a listener of the show and have previously submitted a 5-star review, please take a screenshot of that and send it in to us, even for all existing reviews and everything, because I want to make sure that you're included. And I understand that listener bases and regular listeners is kind of a transient thing, right? Like, people who may have given us a 5-star review 3 years ago may not still be listening to the show for whatever reason. Maybe they're dead.
Oh,
perhaps.
That would suck.
I don't know. Yeah, that would suck. We lost a listener because they're dead now. That would really be sad. But if you are a regular listener and want to be entered into the drawing, take a screenshot of that, send it in to us via email, again, at godlessrevolution@gmail.com, and include as the subject line, so that it doesn't go to our spam or whatever. I'll be sure to enter a filter for these, but put in the subject line of the email that it is for the prize drawing or review prize drawing. We'll keep track of all of those, and we'll enter all of you then who have done so into a drawing for a fabulous prize. So I told Matt and Ryan earlier that, I attend several different charity functions throughout the year, and usually they have some sort of auction for things. And so I will bid on different things at these charity events. And so I have a lot of cool and neat shit just laying around the house that I bid on and won at these various charity functions, but I don't really have a use for. I mean, it's cool stuff, but I have lots of stuff. And so I don't really have a use for it, and would love to give it to one of our wonderful listeners. So get on it, people. Get out there, give us a review, and we'll enter you into the drawing, and one of you will walk away with something really cool.
Well, then last week you said that you'd probably grab a few things and put them together and say, hey, what do you want? So the person who wins actually gets to choose, hey, I want that cool Star Wars item, or hey, I want that atheist-related item.
Yeah, I want that collection of nude postcards.
Yeah, of
people.
us. Oh, of people.
I want that collector's item comic book, or I want that figurine. I have a lot of shit just laying around, so it'll be a fabulous item that you will get to choose from several different items.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll just have different drawings going forward for a bunch of stuff, because I'd like to give it away to our listeners, because you guys are awesome. Yeah. So please get out there and do that. Okay, enough said.
All right.
Until next episode.
I blame Tribulation Trump, because he's a demon.
Yes. I want to be sure that we also thank our Patreon patrons, because we have not yet done so during the episode. We managed to pick up a new patron actually while we are recording. So I want to say thank you to our newest Patreon patron. And that person is Let Them Eat Kofefe.
Good name. Good name.
I like that one. It's definitely good. I want to thank our other Patreon subscribers, Stephen Andrus, Mo Cowbell, Jefferson Montoya, Christy Kalbach, Andrew Vodopich, Wesley Aaron, Utah Outcasts, Andy Faulkner, Angelica Pearson, Jeremy Goodson, Brandy Hamrick, Taylor Grin, Grant Larimer, Savadakuna, and the Gaytheist, Mr. Aaron Burton. Thank you all very much.
We love every single one of you.
Yes, and if you would like to become a Patreon patron, you may do so by going to patreon.com/godlessrevolution. And please make a pledge if you can. You help the show go. You help pay for our hosting fees and posting stuff out to Podbean and Stitcher and paying for equipment and hosting fees for our website. And, there's a bunch of fees that go into putting on a show that most of you can listen to for free. And
that you don't think about.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you're a fan of the show and want to help us out, that would be awesome. Then we're not paying just out of our own pockets to produce content. I mean, it's awesome. I love doing it, but it'd be great if it wasn't to drain financially on us and we could just do it for the love of doing it. I mean, we do that anyway, but if we didn't have to worry about paying for it, that would be fantastic.
And we don't want advertisers.
Yeah, I don't figure we're ever going to make $1 million off of this or anything, but but yeah, it'd be great to just be able to know that you people value our work enough to help us continue producing it.
Yeah.
So thank you all very, very much.
And all them Hamite men are standing there, getting erections.
Well, we got to call Mark here in a little bit, but before we do, I wanted to talk real quick about religious privilege being mistaken as religious freedom. yet again, and in all of these fucking news stories that I'm seeing everywhere. Mm-hmm. We saw it earlier today with the Supreme Court deciding that a church who has a playground
can now take state money.
Yeah, attached to it can take from the public coffer. They can take your tax money. They're not contributing a fucking dime.
Nope.
But you as a taxpayer now have to pay for religious indoctrination of children at a private school who isn't contributing anything and is taking money out of your pocket.
And all because of the fucking SCOTUS pick the Republicans stole.
And they're couching this as a religious freedom issue. It's not a religious freedom issue. You are still free to have your own fucking school. Yeah. You are free to have your own religion. You are free to practice your religion. You're free to send your kids to this fucking school, and you're free to have a playground where they play. What you're not free to do, what is giving you a special fucking privilege because you're not contributing, is taking money out of the public coffer through tax monies that are now going to a religious institution.
More money that's going to a religious institution.
Right.
But this time it's government sanctioned.
Yeah. So what I would like all of you to do is notice this when you see it happening, when you see a headline that says that it's claiming it's a religious freedom issue. Call people out on it. Don't let them get away with that shit. Don't let them get away with saying that it's a religious freedom issue. It's not an issue of religious freedom. It's an issue of religious fucking privilege. And we need to point that out and make it perfectly clear each and every fucking time it happens. So the next time you see a headline that says religious freedom won, or they're trying to take away our religious freedoms, be sure that you let them know it's not a freedom. We're not talking about religious freedoms. We're talking about religious privilege, and you shouldn't be expected to have it.
Yeah, it's religious freedom seems to get wrapped up into I can do whatever the fuck I want because my religion says I can. So fuck you.
Yep. Yeah. All right, let's give Mark a call.
Okay,
Mark call.
Mark call.
I don't know why I stumbled over that so much. Let's give Mark a call, shall we?
Okay.
Let's get Neeb phone. Let's get Neeb phone.
Neeb phone.
Mark call.
Mark call Neeb phone.
My name is Dr. Karen Garst. I am the author of Women Beyond Belief, Discovering Life Without Religion. I also have a blog at www.faithlessfeminist.com. You can find me on Facebook at Faithless Feminist, and Twitter I'm at Karen_Garst. And you are listening to The Godless Revolution.
I think it is really important to recognize, as has been said, that science does not make it impossible to believe in God. It just makes it possible to not believe in God. And that's really important, because until you had science, everything was a miracle.
All right, we have Mr. Mark Nebo. He's a speaker, activist, founder of Be Secular and of the Normalize Atheism campaign. That's what he's come on the show to talk to us about tonight. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me here.
Yay, so good to talk to you. I've wanted to have you on the show for a really long time. I've known you for, oh gosh, how long? I think I met you initially in 2014 at the American.
Austin, I guess.
Well, it was here in Salt Lake, actually.
Salt Lake, yeah, okay.
Yeah, for the American Atheist Convention here. How's the wife and kids?
Oh, good. Shannon's super good. Anybody that knows me or of me probably knows of or knows Shannon. She's great. She is working hard with recovering from religion and working hard in her own speaking and activism stuff. The kids are good. All of 3 kids, the 2 that everyone sees on Facebook and the 1 that no one ever sees on Facebook. They're all good.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are kind of a dynamic power couple as far as atheist activism goes.
Well, we try to, I mean, it kind of was weird because I used to do a lot more, and then I became a lot more busy in my regular life, and then Shannon just kind of got involved with the Reason Rally and got involved with Recovery from Religion. I mean, she's just been super busy, and she's had a lot more speaking engagements and things than I have recently, but we try to, work together and on our own as much as we can to try to do as much as we can in the realms that we feel are important. I do a little bit more of the atheism stuff, and she does a little bit more of the parenting and like secularism stuff and the recovery stuff. So we try to work on our own things, but sometimes we work together.
No, I think you're both doing awesome things for the movement and community. I appreciate it all for sure. We brought you on here tonight to talk about the Normalize Atheism campaign. What is that?
The Normalize Atheism campaign is it's just becoming a thing. I first started with the idea of pushing just the term of normalized atheism in 2014, and it was an accident. I just used that hashtag in passing, and the Richard Dawkins Foundation and Richard Dawkins retweeted a tweet I had, and then it became crazy. I mean, they have 2 million followers, and it was used about 200,000 times over the course of about a week. So it really went crazy, and I didn't keep that fire going foolishly. But I did made some shirts, and I kind of tried to push the message a little bit. But then fast forward about a year and a half later, and at the Reason Rally we just went through, talking to Steve Shives and Sincere Carabo, they both asked me at separate times about it and why I didn't continue doing it. So I asked them to join me as managing partners of the campaign to try to revive it. And since then, it's kind of started taking off again. People have been feeling the message and trying to get behind it a little bit. So it's really just a grassroots effort to try to bring people together that are interested in making atheism more of a thing that we don't even have to talk about. I think that's a lot of times is our goals as activists is it would be awesome if we didn't have to activist. No matter what you are activism about, I mean, I'm a big anti-spanking person. That's one of the things I talk about a lot. So it would be awesome if I didn't have to go out and tell everybody that, spanking your kids is fucked up. You know what I mean? It'd be great. But that's not the case. So I think normalized atheism in general, the idea of, talking about that resonates with people because a lot of people have come from a lot of different places. Like Steve Shives, for example, is extremely polarizing. A lot of people really, really don't like him a lot. And a lot of people really, really do like him. So somebody that I've had people that come up and say, I don't really like Steve Shives at all. In fact, I could do without him, but I like the Normalized Atheism campaign. So they feel kind of conflicted about following it. But I think that's a good sign. I think that if people from all over our community that have polarizing views and opposite views can still get behind a message, I'm happy about that.
Well, and I think that's important. I think that's an important point also. I don't know. People seem to focus on one particular thing, one particular point of disagreement that they may have with someone else, and they make their entire relationship about that one thing. I'm much more interested in focusing on what we can work on together, what our shared interests are, what our shared goals are, and being able to work on those things together than I am with being pissed off at you because, we may disagree on any one particular little point. I think that's a fucking waste of everybody's time and just works to disintegrate and tear apart the movement from the inside, which is ridiculous.
That's rampant in our community. It's like everybody or a lot of people got up in arms when Silverman and company went to CPAC, and
right.
I was for it. I'm about as liberal as a person can get, but when you're talking strictly in the terms of pushing the religious dogma out of the center of society, I mean, there's people all over that support that. I mean, some of the most staunch libertarians that I'm sure I have zero in common with are atheists because of different reasons than I'm an atheist, but I don't care about that. If they are atheists and that's their, and they will help push that tiny piece of agreement, as you said, I'm going to deal with them on that piece of agreement. I still might think they might be shitheads, but if they want to stand against the church for whatever reason, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think we need to focus more on what we have in common and can work on as a shared goal.
Yeah.
And why would you not want to reach out to people on the right when it's the right that is the most religious portion of our electorate?
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And political spectrum. Why would you not want to reach out to those people, especially atheists within that movement, so that they can talk to other people within that movement and say, hey, you know, I'm a right-wing person. I'm a right-wing activist. I'm here at CPAC. And I think that we should probably not focus on God and Jesus so much. Let's focus on maintaining a separation of government and religion and providing the best that we can for the populace rather than focusing on all of these religious points of dogma.
Right. Let's not focus on God and Jesus so much. Let's focus on all of our other shitty ideas that we have. They wouldn't say that, but that's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that with you guys in Utah, you probably have to take the pieces that you agree with a lot. Like, I'm sure you guys go out and do events where you're in the community and you're, cleaning up trash or whatever you guys are involved in, and there's just Mormons fucking everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to do what you can that's good, even if everything else you don't agree with that they're doing.
Right. Yeah, Atheists of Utah volunteers for our Good Without God series of volunteer events. One of them that we do fairly often is volunteering at the Utah Food Bank, and that's actually ran by the LDS Church.
Right. That it's the idea of interfaith or I guess outer faith, like where that's not even a consideration. Has been something that Shannon and I have been very, into for a long time. I mean, we had the Common Ground Conversation series with Be Secular several years back, before I think I ever knew you existed, Dan.
Yeah.
And that was Jerry DeWitt, if you remember him.
Uh-huh.
And Mark Sandlin, a progressive minister friend of mine. And they were talking in a discussion forum, like a town hall forum that we put together for Be Secular. We sponsored the events, two of them, one at Johns Hopkins and one at in Greensboro, North Carolina. And the whole genesis of that series was, let's not talk about how different we are, let's talk about how similar they are and why we have common goals despite all this other shit,
So how can people support the Normalize Atheism campaign? What are some key things that people can do to help with the normalization of the term atheist and atheism?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is just using it. The idea for the campaign in general kind of came from one of Dave Silverman's talks that I saw a couple times. I've seen him give it more than once, about how we can't be afraid to use the term atheism because it has a lot of sting and a lot of stigma, and we're not doing ourselves any favors by calling ourselves agnostic or humanist or secularist or a nun singularly. Like, use those, but you have to use atheist too. And I think that that's the most important thing, is just doing what a lot of us already do, wearing atheist shirts, going out to pride events or going out to other events in town and being an atheist and talking about it and being part of atheist groups like Atheists in Utah, out and having banners and all that. But just even in casual conversation, when you talk to someone for the first time, instead of trying to lighten the load by saying, "Oh, I'm a secular humanist," be honest with yourself and say, "I'm an atheist and I'm a secular humanist," because the word is scary to a lot of people. It's still scary to a lot of people that are atheists. They don't use it because of the way it rubs people the wrong way and the way it will push people away from you. But I think that's the reason you need to use it, because you can take away the stigma of it. If the more people use it, the more easy it is to call yourself an atheist in general. So just being out, talking about atheism, saying you're an atheist first, I think those are the kind of things that are the most important. The hashtag on social media is useful because, like a lot of us, I started with my activism behind the keyboard of a and Facebook and on YouTube and places where you can feel a lot more free because you have the mask of anonymity, or you have at least have the mask of being not in front of someone's face, and the hashtag allows you to quickly put that on the end of something that you're saying, and it allows people to understand that you are an atheist and you're fine. You're not the devil, So I think that kind of stuff is what we hope people do. It seems small and it seems petty, but those little things go a long way.
So did you just admit that you were previously a basement-dwelling, fedora-wearing, neck-bearded keyboard warrior?
No, I've had a neck beards at different times. I've owned fedoras. I do have one now, but now I wear it ironically and shouldn't. But I do hate it. I hate it. And I have been a keyboard activist, and I was for a long time with no real world activism at all. But I think a lot of people start that way because it's the easiest.
Right. Yeah, well, it helps familiarize you with the arguments and how to deal with people and respond to different things. So yeah, certainly that's definitely how I started as well.
I just started doing a podcast.
Right.
And I see Matt furiously scribbling notes over here. What have you?
Oh, I actually don't have anything interesting. I'm just keeping notes as we go so I can stay current with what he's going.
Paper.
Doing what?
He does do that.
Dude, he absolutely does. We have several dick drawings here in the studio.
I was just drawing you as a penis, Mark.
Well, hey, as long as it has a beard, I'm fine.
I will work on that one.
But no, I think I've actually done it where, at work. So I'm a firefighter, and we all live kind of close to each other. So my work situation's way different than a lot of people's dynamic at work. But they all know I'm an atheist. And when I first got to the department I'm at right now, and people were talking like, "Oh, we hear you do a podcast and stuff," and they're like, "What's it about?" I'm like, atheism? Like, "Oh, you're an atheist." But then they would start asking me questions where it wasn't like, "Oh, it's scary." They asked me like, "Well, what is it? What is an atheist even?" Because they hadn't really encountered it before. A lot of these people live in the country, are all, grew up very Mormon. So I think it does help to have normalize it to just say, yes, I'm an atheist. And if you want to ask me a question, ask me.
Right, right. That's exactly right. And I think that the more direct you are and the less you try to, because if you try to evade it at all, then it just seems more shifty and more.
Yeah, it seems more sketchy for sure.
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't believe in God, but I still like and do 98% of the things that you do. So let's talk about that stuff. And if you want to ask about atheism, I'm more than happy to tell you.
Well, and you mentioned the talk from David Silverman. I'm guessing you're referring to the one where he talks about, if you want to be as clear with people as possible and as honest and open with them as possible, you should absolutely use the word atheist or atheism, because secular humanist doesn't tell people much about what you are necessarily, right? That you can use all of these other words like free thinker or open-minded or secular or humanist or, agnostic or anything like that. And that doesn't really get to the heart of what you actually believe, and it doesn't let people know that you are in fact an atheist.
Yeah, because they don't know what the hell that means.
Yeah, they don't know what those other words or phrases actually mean, but they do know what the term atheist means by and large. At least they have a better understanding of what an atheist is overall than what a humanist is or what a secularist is.
Yeah, and I think when a lot of times, I just start right down the list and I say, well, I'm an atheist because I don't believe in God, and then I'm all these other things for all these other reasons, you know. And that it all evolves. Like what we say we are, I think, in our, especially when we don't have a faith system that's very rigid. I think what we say we are grows. I mean, because I started out, you know, as agnostic, like a lot of people, and then I became an atheist, but I identified as secular humanist. And then I started talking about all these other options about, you know, free thinker and skeptic. And now I just feel like I'm all those things, except for I don't think I'm agnostic anymore. I don't use that term anymore. So, you know, you just kind of evolve. So now, you know, I'm an atheist. Of course, I'm a skeptic. I'm a skeptic about a lot of stuff. And I'm a free thinker by default because of all those things, and I'm a secular humanist because I do live a secular life and I do believe in the tenets of humanism. So if you break down why you're those things, I think a lot of that starts with being an atheist.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think me being an atheist and being an out atheist as well, has made me a better person. It's, you know, because I feel a lot of the time like I'm not just representing me, but I mean, anytime you adopt a label, you're adopting a wider community identity. And so what you do reflects on that wider community. And I want to make sure that what I do and what I'm involved with and the people I choose to associate with, the activist things that I'm associated with, that those all reflect positively on the wider community. You know, I don't want to do something that is going to damage the wider community of atheists in something that I've done that somebody can point to. And, you know, whether I do something shitty for whatever reason, but then they can point to that and say, oh, see, that's what atheists do. That's what an atheist person would do.
Absolutely. And the religious community that looks at us as evil, they're waiting for that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're waiting for something to happen where they can say, see, if you had the Lord, you wouldn't be like that. But like what you said about being an atheist makes you a better person, I always feel like that too. But I the reason that I always think like that is because, and I tell people this, I say, I feel like atheism makes me a better person because I don't have anyone to apologize to except the person that I was a shithead to. I don't have a net. I don't have a person or a being that I can go back to later and say, you know, that was really fucked up. I'm too embarrassed to apologize to the person that I wronged, so I'll just apologize to you, invisible thing, and feel better about it. And I think that makes you a lot more careful. I think it does me, at least. I feel like I'm a lot more careful, or at least I was before I started thinking about it, not thinking about it consciously, when I was actually consciously aware of, I have got no recourse out of my guilt than to be less guilty, you know?
Right.
And I've evolved to where I don't think about that consciously anymore, but I used to. I mean, when I first came out of faith, I was like, this is really the big time, man. This is no net over Niagara Falls here, because I cannot escape my guilt now without confronting the person that I screwed over.
Right, and you know that you're doing something because it's what you want to do, right? You're not doing it because of the threat of eternal punishment if you're not a good enough person, and you're not doing it because of the potential of eternal reward and a gold mansion in the sky. You're doing it because you're a good fucking person.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Gold mansion, is that a thing? Is that a Mormon thing?
Well, not just a gold mansion, but you get a whole planet.
Oh yeah, if you're a super good Mormon, then yeah, you could become a god and have your own planet.
God, I'll say you guys, because you guys are the only fucking people in Utah I know. You guys have the best old religion stuff. Like, Mormons have the best stories, I think. Like, a whole planet and a gold mansion, that's pretty boss, dude. I mean, if you're gonna be religious, that sounds pretty good to me.
Hey, I hear they're still signing people up.
Yeah. Always, yeah. Yeah, they just decided to go all the way with it.
Yeah,
I mean, a million wives, whatever, the whole deal.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I like to hear about that shit.
Well, and then, God is an actual being who lives on another planet.
Yeah.
He's not spaceless, timeless, and immaterial like William Lane Craig would like to say. He's an actual being who's having sex with a bunch of with a bunch of godly mothers who are giving birth to spirit babies who are going to travel here to Earth and inhabit the fleshly bodies of people who are born into the LDS faith.
That's what I'm fucking talking about, man. Now that's a religion right there. I was very like milquetoast, loose Protestant, and everything was just, it was the opposite of like the Catholic fire brimstone. It was like everything's fine, everything's okay. God thinks everything is going to work out.
Were you a Methodist or what?
I was what's called Covenant, which is a small northern thing. It's similar to Baptist, but it's like we do communion. Like, we're one of the Protestant groups that do communion, so it was kind of a weird faith, but it was pretty liberal from what I remember. But there was almost no rules. There was nothing to it, man. And I hear all these other cool ass fucking religions where everything was super rules. I don't know. If I was going to be religious, I'd want something with a lot more structure.
Well, Mormonism's pretty rigid, so
yeah, I can't be left to my own devices, man.
Well, they still allow you to have bacon, but pretty much everything else is restricted.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm talking about.
And you got to wear funny underwear.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys are gonna. I'm getting ready. I'm gonna sign up.
They might send 2 men to your door that are well dressed.
It's funny because I know you've probably, at least I know Dan's seen it because I think he commented on it. Our license plates are godless and secular. That's the 2 license plates, and they're in our driveway. So the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons, they come by a lot. Like, they come by more than I think the other houses. Because we'd be like a catch,
You're the challenge.
Yeah, they come by and they bring it up. They're like, "Oh, how about that?" I'm like, "Yeah, how about it?"
Well,
that's funny.
I've even had them come by because I've got atheist stickers on my car, or I did before. And then I got a new car, but I still have the one that says "No God Needed" on my license plate, or the license plate frame. And they have to walk past that to get to my front door. Then they came to my front door, and I was wearing a Satanic Temple T-shirt, and they asked me, "What religion do you belong to?" I was like, "You didn't see my car or even see the shirt I'm wearing?"
That's some condescending shit, isn't it? You start right out. What religion do you belong to?
Well, because I obviously knew which one they did. They got their brother shirts on, saying "Brother so and so," and
also do a little research while you're in the driveway, guys.
Yeah.
Come on,
it's not hard.
Just show up and ask.
Maybe just be a little observant of the world around you.
Right. Oh, they saw it. They're just fucking around.
Yeah. Well, they're also 18, so.
Well, I know that you've got to get going to take care of the family and such.
It is midnight here.
Yeah, but if people wanted to find out more about you or Be Secular or the Normalize Atheism campaign, where can we point them for more information?
Well, Normalize Atheism campaign is alive on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. On Facebook, it's / Normalize Atheism. On Twitter, it's Normal Atheism because there's not too many letters. But on Twitter, you can just use the hashtag. If you use the hashtag Normalize Atheism, there's like 6 digits, probably 300,000 tweets if you go back far enough. So get on there and dig in and enjoy that. And then Instagram, it's Normalize Atheism as well. For me, I'm somewhat active on Twitter at Mark Nebo, but mostly on Facebook is my domain. I'm full of friends, so you'd have to follow me on my profile or follow me on the Facebook page. I have a Facebook profile page too. So I mean, I'm easy to find. I'm an easy guy to find.
And what about Be Secular?
Be Secular is on Twitter at Be Secular, and on Facebook at just search Be Secular. It's / Be Secular bracelets, because it was bracelets was originally what we started with. Now there's a shit ton of stuff, so that's pretty easy to find too. Shannon's easy to find on Facebook as well. She's Secular Sunshine on Twitter.
That's awesome. She is like a ray of sunshine. She's just always smiling, happy. She's a very sweet person. I like hanging out with you guys.
Thank you, sir. When's the next time you're gonna end up in this neck of the woods? I mean, you haven't been to DC, but for Reason Rally, right?
Well, hell, I've been out to DC 3 different times now.
That's where we live, you know.
Oh shit.
Well, what a good friend you are, Dan.
Well, no, yeah, actually, I did know that you haven't been in DC this whole time, though, right?
Yeah, we've lived as long as I've known you. That's where we've.
Oh, really? Fuck! For some reason, I thought you lived somewhere near the Bible Belt or in the Bible Belt.
No, I grew up in Michigan, but I mean, I haven't lived in Michigan since '98.
Oh hell. Well, yeah. The next time I'm out in DC, I'm out there for work every so often, but I'll be sure to hit you up.
Yeah, let us know, man. If you want to, you could come stay and we can grill, and we could do a bunch of atheism stuff if you want.
Hell yeah!
A beard contest.
Yeah, well, come on, not. There was a time where Dan and I's beard were similar lengths, but that was years ago when I was a young man.
Well, what else have you got going on here coming up where people could see you?
Shannon was just she spoke at ReasonCon twice actually, because she got an award, which is cool. Nice. But the next thing I have is I am the MC for the Pennsylvania Atheists and Freethinkers Conference in the weekend of October 13th in Philadelphia. Yep. That's really what I've been doing lately. I haven't spoke as far as just like a regular talk in a long time. I've been the MC of about a half dozen conferences lately. So that's kind of where I've settled in as a niche.
Are you going to be at AA Con?
Probably not. Only because, yeah. Oh, that's the first time we didn't make it. Only because the babies are getting harder to travel with, and my job is tough.
Yeah.
It's the first year, and I'm a Silver Life member, so it's free, and I'm still not going to go. So,
well, and you got so much shit going on all the time too.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I think that probably by 18, we'll have all of our stuff back in a row, and we'll be a little bit more aggressive with going around and stuff. But this year we'll be off the circuit, unless we're speaking somewhere and someone's flying us out and flying us back real quick. We're not going to probably be going around. So
You mean when all your kids are 18, right? That's what.
No. Wow. I probably lived that long. I'm going. Orbit. How about that for an end? Now you guys are like, oh, great.
Well, with that, we'll let you go. No, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited. I hope that everybody that's hearing this goes out and tweet something with Normalize Atheism, because I know they all believe in it. So hopefully we see a spike in the tweets.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Mark.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
If you have questions, comments, concerns, compliments, corrections, criticisms, or concepts for content, contact the show via email at godlessrevolution@gmail.com, by text or voicemail at 330-81-REBEL, or Twitter the twatter at TGR Podcast. Thank you.
Well, that was cool. I've been wanting to have Mark on the show for a while.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Mark.
He's super chill.
Yeah.
The only thing I really thought of at any point really was with, when he was talking about Silverman going to the thing or whatever. It's like, first of all, where do you want him to be? With the Democrats or with the Republicans, obviously.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is, maybe he's not the softest voice in atheism, but there's no fucking denying that he's one of the savviest.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
If you put him in there, he's going to come out okay.
Yeah, well, and he's quick on his feet and just...
Yeah, super sharp. Yeah. So I mean, there's very few people I would think I would feel more comfortable with than him, even in a situation like that. But when you're talking about going into a lion's den, Silverman's kind of the guy. But that's all I was thinking. But we moved on from that pretty quickly. I was letting him get his thoughts out on it. I didn't want to cut him off because he's the one we have on. You know what I mean? So, But there just wasn't a space to really go back naturally. So I was like, meh.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal to say.
Yeah. Oh crap! We didn't even mention that he's also got his own podcast with R and Raw.
Well, we give him chances to plug stuff, and he even forgot.
The Raw Men podcast. I was a guest on that a while back. You can find that out on YouTube. But yeah, I've wanted to have him on the show for a while, so nice to finally get him on the show. Thank you very much again, Mark. I appreciate it. That pretty much wraps it up for tonight.
Yeah.
But I wanted to let everybody know that we will be moving on to the Patreon portion of the show. And since Matt's back...
Oh, we're going to get him ragey.
I figured a couple clips of Dave Daubenmire would be great to cover.
Doing this so late, man. I don't know if I have enough... I don't know if my rage tank is full anymore.
We're going to double dob Matt.
We'll fill it up so that you're wide awake on your way home, gripping the steering wheel tightly and screaming at people.
I do that anyway. I honestly do.
Well, thank you all very much for listening, and until next week, crucify that like button.
Leave a review to achieve nirvana.
Rate the show 5 times a day toward Mecca.
I fucking love pictures of the sun, man.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
They're even better in color.
I'll bet.
Sure he's going to love that if he ever listens to this right before.
Mark Kalnipa.
The finest beard east of Dan Ellis.
Oh man, I took mine way down. Mine is very, very moderate now. I would say I'm like a newly bearded fellow nowadays.
Well, that's why I looked online, and there's fucking a whole shitload of rooms available.
There's whole shit rooms?
Whole shit rooms available. And they're cheaper than normal. You know, it's funny, the guy that always would ask me questions, I came in the kitchen one day, in our kitchen day room.
Gross, you should do that in the bathroom.
Oh, no, you come all over the kitchen. It's where all the baby batter goes.
I came in the kitchen one day.
But the kitchen and like the TV area are all like one area.
You didn't even limit it to just the kitchen?
Oh no, I came all over the place. Gotta mark your territory.
Don't use any black lights at the
no.
fire station out there.
No, you got jizz all over it all.